Thank you all for joining us in this Google Meet training or webinar. We will be beginning in 5 minutes. Please be sure, if your microphone is not already muted, please be sure to mute your microphone. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question before we start?
Woo, sure. Hold on one second. Let me try and still trying to let some people in. Sorry.
Okay.
What was
I've been trying to use Meet, and I've used Zoom a lot before. So when I tried to do Meet with some of my colleagues, they couldn't see me. I could see them, they couldn't see me. And then at other times I couldn't see them. And I tried to do Zoom just to make sure it wasn't my camera, and Zoom worked perfectly, and Meet did not.
Okay.
So I don't know what to do.
As far as they're not able to see videos of what's going on?
No, I could share my screen and they could see that, but they couldn't see me. Like if I was just talking, they couldn't see me.
If you're sharing the screen and the screen is up, then sometimes aren't shared, but
when I wasn't sharing the screen, they couldn't see me.
okay. It depends on how they have the layout set up on the Meet. If they have the layout on the screen changed differently, then you actually won't see people on the Meet. And it kind of depends on what purpose you're sort of using it for.
I work with nonverbal students.
Okay.
So if I can't see them and they can't see me, it makes it really, really difficult to do anything.
There should be a way for students to see you and to see students.
It should be, but I don't know how.
Okay, we'll go over that today in the camera feature.
Okay. And can you see me? Because I just see a J next to my name, but I have no camera on.
That's because your camera's off.
No, my camera's on.
In the Meet. So right now you can see me. I'm waving. Hello.
Yeah, I can see you waving.
When I take my camera off on the bottom.
So I'm hovering over it now, Tina, so she could see.
No, I know that part on the bottom, and I have it open right now, and my camera is not blocked.
Okay. Let me figure out why it's doing that then.
Okay, Ms. Jan, while Tina is working on that, she will be responding to you through the chat, and I'll explain what that is in a little bit.
Okay.
So
I know how to do that too.
Yes, so if you would mute your mic so we can get started.
That's fine.
Thank you.
So like in the afternoon. I had to log in now before it kicked me off.
Geraldine, can you go ahead and mute your mic? Thank you. Okay, everyone, it's 12:30. Carmen, if you would please mute your mic, I would appreciate that. It is 12:30 and we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Leticia Trujillo and I am your facilitator for today. With me, I'm part of the EdTech team, and with me is Tina Nunez. She will be on chat answering your questions. If you've just joined us, please go ahead and mute your mic. How to mute your mic? If you scroll down at the bottom, I'm screen sharing right now. So I'm if I move away from the bottom of my screen, then this bar sometimes disappears. If I hover over, then you can see the bar where it says meeting details here. I have my bar. I can go here to this to the turn off microphone, and I can turn off my microphone.
She's presenting live.
Robin, I'll need you to mute your mic, please. So you turn off your microphone.
Yes.
Using this. Robin? Thank you. Okay, so again, if you've just joined our meeting, if you click here on turn off mic, you can click that and it'll mute your mic. We have over 80 people in our training right now in our webinar, so we want to make sure to avoid any background noises or distractions. Okay, so we're going to be going over Google Meet today, how to create a Google Meet, how to join a Google Meet, and so on and so forth. If you're here, you clicked on the link and you're joining our meet now. So the first thing you want to do, just a clarification, you want to make sure that you are logged in using your APS credentials. So this, where my cursor is hovering over, this bar here is my Chrome browser. Okay, this is my Chrome browser bar here. Okay, when I click on my icon here, and I've already updated my profile, so I do have a photo of myself here. If I click on that, I see that I am logged in using my APS credentials. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're logged in using your APS credentials. And here at the bottom, you can see how these two, both of my profiles here, they match. Okay, both of my icons here, I've updated my profile with my image. So both of my images here match. This here is the Chrome domain. This is my Google domain. Okay, when I click on my Google domain, I see that oops, I pinned myself. When I click on my Google domain, I see that I'm logged in using my APS credentials. And and that's important because you want to make sure that both of these match, okay? When I click on this little red arrow here, up arrow, when I click on that, actually, don't click on that. Sorry. Here on my icon on your profile, my image, and when I click on that, I see that my sync is on. You want to make sure that your sync is turned on for the purpose of to make sure that everything that you're able to get into your Meet and your APS with using your APS credentials. And when you record this session, I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. When you record the session, the recorded session will automatically be saved into your Google Drive if these two, your Chrome browser and your Google Google icon is the images, if they match, if you're signed in using your APS credentials. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm screen sharing right now. I'm going to open a new tab to show you how to go into a Google Meet. Okay, so you can simply type in, you can go to your Drive. If you go drive.google.com, and again, you'll see that here I have my APS. If I click on here, I see that I'm logged in using my APS credentials. Okay, and here I'm logged in using my APS credentials into my Chrome. Here's Chrome. Here's my Google. Okay, my Google domain. So if I go to this little gray waffle icon right next to my my Google, my login here, my Google account information. If I go to the gray waffle icon, I click on that, and I'm in my drive right now. I can get to Meet. Here's Meet using the gray waffle icon. Okay, so I can click on that and get to Meet, or I can just simply type meet.google.com. Okay, I could type that in and I can join or start a meeting. Okay, and you all can try doing that in a different, if in a tab, if you'd like, just to get to this place, to the Google Meet. You can type meet.google.com, or you can go into your drive and use the gray waffle icon to get there. Okay, once you're there, you can ask to join or start a meeting. When I click on join or start a meeting, I can enter the meeting code nickname. So I can say math, 7th grade math, or I can say, whatever subject area you're working with, or you can do grade level collaboration, whatever you'd want to nickname that, you can nickname, or you can leave it blank. You hit continue, and there you'll be joining a Google Meet. Okay. Now, when you join a Google Meet, it'll ask you, do you want to use your camera? There I am. Do you want to use your camera? If I don't want to show myself on camera, I can exit off of that, turn off my camera, and I could turn my mic on or off. Okay. Once I do that, it'll tell me to join the meeting. Okay. Once I join the meeting, here I am in a Google Meet. Then I can go through and using the little people icon here, I can click on that and I can add people to my Google Meet. Okay. So I'm going to show you this part using the Google Meet that we're on now. Okay. So I'm going to get out of that and I'm going to go to our Google Meet. Here, if I click on the little people icon, I can click on that and it shows me a list of everyone that is on our Google, in this Google Meet right now, in this webinar. Okay. I see a list of everyone who's participating, and I see that everyone's microphone is muted. Thank you all. Okay, and here right next to the people icon, I see a chat bubble. Okay, if I click on that chat, here you can answer all of your, you can ask any of your questions, and that way it keeps from interrupting the facilitator. When you're setting up your own Google Meet, then if you're the facilitator, it'll keep people from interrupting, especially when we have right now, you can see at the top, we have 87 people in this Meet right now in this webinar. So if the microphones weren't turned off, then of course you can hear dogs barking, you can hear babies crying, you can hear kids running around, you can hear, or what have you. There's a lot of distracting background noise. So that's the purpose of having the microphones muted. Now here you can see that people are asking questions, and my amazing colleague Cristina Nunez is on standby right now, and she's answering your questions. And that way people don't unmute their mic and everybody's trying to ask a question, and then you have overlapping conversations or people trying to talk over each other, to ask questions, and that way you have the chat to ask your questions. Okay. Now, under people, if I see I've created this Meet and say that there's a key player in here that I really need them to be on our Meet, and they haven't attended yet, or they haven't participated in the meeting, what I could do is I can go here to this Add People icon. I click on that, and I can, because I'm in the APS domain, I can start typing in already my colleagues. These are people. This is my executive director, Shell Marie Harris. Brian Stewart is our systems admin, one of our systems admins. Cristina Nunez is with us already, and Aaron Jaramillo is our senior director for EdTech. I can click on one of these because I am in the APS domain. I can click on them and send an invite to this person if they're not already in the webinar or in the Meet, and I need them to attend. Okay, so for example, yesterday I had a special education teacher who was trying to conduct an IEP. And before they conducted the IEP, they said, well, what if the parent's not on, or what if something happens and, we need the SLP in the meet and they're not on yet. So I told them you can go on and you could invite them if you're in the APS domain, whoever. If I start typing in a last name like Nunez, automatically my colleague Christina's going to pop up, but I can also, anybody in the APS, I can start typing in their last name and or first name, doesn't matter, and they will automatically populate there, and you can select who you want to invite from there. Okay. If it's a parent and they're not part of the APS domain, you can always choose to call the parent. So if you choose the call option, you can enter their phone number here. Okay. So I'm just going to randomly select our 8080. This is our help desk. I believe it's our help desk. Maybe it's 880. I don't know. Anyway, I can select a phone number here, and I can say to call this person. Okay, so that's one way, and they will get their phone will ring, and it'll prompt them on their next steps to join. They just have to press 1, and they'll join the meet. Okay, so that's one way of inviting people. Another way is here at the bottom, when I hover over at the bottom where it says meeting details. How are we doing so far? Tina, do we have any questions? I'll stop here and pause for a minute because I know it's a lot of information.
Can you go over, I know you're probably going to get to it, but I think some people were asking about kind of the chat being in the way, or the layout kind of format so they can see a little better. So can you go over the layout and how the chat can kind of go up, and then, yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yes, thank you, Tina. I'm going there now. Okay, so if I, when Tina was talking, my bar, this bar here, meet bar, it went away, okay? So if I just hover over at the bottom, it'll appear. And again, I can choose to turn off my mic. This phone here icon, it'll say leave the call, meaning that you will leave this Google Meet. And here it's to turn on or off my camera. Now, before I show you the other features here, I want to go up to the top where I have my Google Meet. I see that I'm live on this Google Meet. And I want to show you how to pin and unpin your screen. And this is important because, for example, the teacher that the special ed head that I worked with yesterday, he was telling me, well, I have to go into Synergy, and I want to screen share, but I want to show them my Synergy screen. And while I'm typing in their IEP, I want to make sure that everyone who's on the Meet can see what I'm working on the IEP. So, and as we were going through the Meet, he accidentally exited out of this Google Meet, and then he came back into it later. So he's like, oh, I don't know what happened. Well, when you're working in multiple tabs, it's easy to exit out of here. You just click on here, this little exit at the top. So it's easy to exit out of a tab when you're working in multiple tabs, right? So here's all the little X's next to my tab. So I want to make sure that I don't exit out of it. If I go up to the top and I right click on my tab, I see the pin option. Everybody with me here? The pin option. Thank you, Jennifer. I see you nodding your head. Thank you. So I have the pin option here. So if I pin my tab, look what happens to my tab. You see how it shrunk it? Now I don't have the X next to it. I have the X to exit out of the other tabs, but not my recording tab. Okay, or excuse me, my Google Meet tab. Okay, so I can be working on all these other screens or in these other screens and still have my Meet going without it being, accidentally exiting out of that tab. If I go back on my tab and I right click, then I can unpin my tab. Look what happens when I unpin my tab. It stretches back out, and now I have that X again. okay, to exit out of the tab, okay? So again, I right click on it, I can pin the tab and it shrinks it, okay, so that I don't make a mistake in accidentally exiting out of my Google Meet. And if I right click, then I can unpin it, okay? For now, I'm gonna right click on it and I'm gonna keep it pinned, okay? Now, I go back here to the bottom, and what's nice about, for accessibility purposes, what's nice about this is that you can turn on captions, okay? So if I click here on this turn on captions, now it's telling me that my captions have been turned on. And everything that I'm saying now will be recorded here at the bottom of my screen. You'll have all the closed captions here at the bottom of my screen. Okay, so as I'm speaking, it is typing everything that I'm saying. Okay, so you can have that option of turning on your captions by simply clicking here on the turn on captions. Okay, if I do not want my captions on, all I have to do is simply turn my captions off by clicking on this button here. Okay, now my captions will have gone away. Okay, here I am currently, it gives me a notice that I'm currently presenting my screen. Okay, so I'm currently presenting, and I can, if I click on that, it will ask me, do you want to stop presenting? I don't want to stop presenting right now, but if I wanted to, all I have to do is go up to the, click on that and say stop presenting. Okay, now these three little dots right next where it says more options, we're going to go ahead and go over that. I just want to do a check-in with my colleague Tina. How are we doing? Do I need to go over anything at this point?
Okay, random fact that I've never tried. Can you speak in Spanish and see what the captions do?
Let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to turn on my captions. And it'll give me a notification that my captions, turn on captions. Okay, now it'll give me the notification that my captions are on. And I'm going to start speaking, and I'm going to say, hola, mi nombre es Leticia. Bienvenidos a todos. So it does type in Spanish.
Cool. All right, well, there's an answer I didn't know, so right on.
Yes, so it does speak, it will type in Spanish captions if I'm speaking. So it'll, I believe that might be able to type in whatever language the person is speaking in. That's pretty cool.
I think we're just asking about, my mic's on. Okay, I think we're just asking about how to schedule a meet, which we're going to cover, and then a Google Meet versus a Google live stream. So I said that was coming. So I'm not answering that yet. It's coming.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to go into more options, and thank you all for directing your questions to Tina, because she will be answering them in the chat. As we discussed earlier, she's got quite a few. She's working fiercely on the chats, answering your chats, so questions. So thank you all for asking them, directing your questions there. Okay, so I'm going to go here now to the three little dots. I'm going to go into more options. All I do is click on those three little dots. And then I get a couple of options here, okay? Right now we are live streaming this webinar, and we are currently recording the webinar as well. Excuse me. So that's important. The recording, as I mentioned earlier, it's important when you have, of course, you're making sure that you're logged in with your APS credentials, not only to your Chrome browser, but also to your Google domain. Because when I'm recording this Google Meet, and going back to that example of the head special ed teacher I worked with yesterday, who was wanting to record their IEPs for documentation purposes, they can record here, and automatically the person who set up the meeting, the Google Meet, they can choose to record it, and once they have finished recording the meeting, they can say stop recording, and from stop recording, once it's the recording is complete, it'll automatically save it into your Google Drive. Okay, And from your Google Drive, you can organize your folders, you can organize your files according, your videos, whatever. You can organize them in whichever way you'd like in your drive. Okay, and that's pretty nice when you're working with special ed, because or anybody, right? When you're working with parents, students, even your colleagues, you can have that documentation. Okay, Google Meet is so incredibly. I love this tool because um, there were times where I was down in South Valley School, and we needed to get something done, or we needed to collaborate on something, or and so it was so easy, rather than me driving back to City Center or Bonifacio or wherever I needed another school, I can easily jump on an impromptu Google Meet, and I can collaborate with my colleagues or admins or whomever I needed to collaborate with that way, instead of having to make the drive across town. Okay, so it's incredibly useful. You could do virtual field trips. Right now, you can uh, Google Meet with another colleague in another state. So it's really pretty handy tool. Okay, so here the layout. If I go into and I choose the layout option, I'm going to go ahead and choose the layout. I can choose whichever layout I want to show. Okay, or want to see on my screen. Right now I'm presenting, so I said show, but whatever layout I want to be able to see, I can um, select it. Okay, so right now I believe my screen is set up to sidebar. Oh, there it is. It's set up to sidebar, so I can see the people here on the side. Or I can choose to. I think it's raw. Thank you. Okay, or I can choose to do a spotlight. Okay, that means it's only going to show my screen, and it's not going to show the people on my screen. Okay, you can choose that type of layout. Okay, or I can choose tiled form. Okay, so I can choose whatever type of layout I'd like to for my Google Meet. Okay, I can choose to go full screen. So right now you're seeing some of my tabs here, and you're seeing my Chrome, uh, my extensions, and other things here. If I'm presenting, and maybe I want to present my full screen rather than just my to show all of these other tabs I have open, I can go ahead and go to full screen, and all of that disappears. Okay, so now I'm strictly in my Google Meet, and that's all you all are seeing now. And that's all I see as well from my end. Okay. And to exit full screen, it's simple. You can just hit your escape button, or you can come into the three little dots again and go exit full screen. You can also choose to turn your captions on or off using the three little dots, this menu bar. You can go into your settings from here. Okay, so if I go into my settings, I can say right now the default is I have my microphone and my speakers. It already sets a default for me. But if I wanted to change that default, I can go in there and change the default. Okay, maybe I have some other speakers set up and I want to change wherever that goes to. I can select that. Okay, speakers, the same thing. Video, you can change your send resolution or your receive resolution. Okay, just by simply clicking these little drop down arrows, you click on that and you can say I want it high def, or the standard definition is fine. Okay, so you can choose those options from here, from the three little dots, and going into your settings. You can use a phone for audio. So again, if you have someone who you want to invite, or haven't participated already in your Meet, you can go into the use a phone, as I showed you earlier. This is another way of doing it. You can enter the phone number here, and you can even say, remember this phone number on this device. So if you wanted to, if it's a phone number you frequent, you can choose that option. Okay, but once you see, right now it's grayed out because I don't have a phone number on there. But if I go in and add a phone number, now it says call me, and it tells you here that Meet calls your phone so you can use it to listen and speak to the video call. When you answer the call, press 1 to connect the call. So as soon as the individual's phone rings, they will answer, and it says you have been invited, or so and so, it has invited you to blah blah blah, whatever the title of the meeting, or a Google Meet. And please press 1 to continue. So if the person presses 1, then it automatically dials them into the Meet. Okay. And then, of course, the final features here on the 3 little icons is a help if you report a problem, or help. If you have you need help with Google Meet, you can go on to that help option there. Okay. All right. Tina, how are we doing? Do we have any questions so far?
I'm going to unmute my mic. Unmute. I think we're doing pretty good. The question that keeps coming up is how to do a Google Meet where students cannot get into a Google Meet, and that would be creating a Google Meet through a nickname. So that's a different version of creating a Meet. How to schedule a Meet. There's that. So we're going to be going over that. This is... What was that other question? I forgot. I'm sorry. I'll go back and keep looking. But I think so far we're doing pretty good. We're going to go over the calendar and how to schedule, the difference between the live stream again, and then just keeping kids from using the Meet over and over again.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and exit out of my full screen just to show you. By clicking escape, I will exit my full screen. Okay. So I want to show you all how to schedule a Google Meet. And you would have to do that using, so if I go into my Drive, and of course I showed you the gray waffle icon. And here, this here is what is referred to as the G Suite, okay? The Google Suite, okay? So here is a menu of apps, Google Apps, okay? And part of those are, you can go into your Google Calendar. Okay, if I click on that, I've already opened my Google Calendar here. Okay, so if I wanted to schedule a meet, what I can do is I can go in and I'm going to go into next week. And if I want to schedule a meet, all I do is choose the date. And I don't even have to do that. I can just do it from here, because it's going to ask me what date I want anyway here. So you add the title, whatever title whatever you want to title your Google. You can say Google Meet for Google Meet regarding Okay, so I can do that, and then I can go here to the date, and I can choose from the calendar what date. I can choose my time. I can choose the start and the end time. And I can add guests from here if I wanted to. Specific people who I want to add, who needs to participate in this Google Meet. And here where it says add room, location, or conferencing, if I click on that and I say I want to add conferencing, the Google Meet automatically gives me a Meet code. Okay, so it's automatically going to generate. It's going to generate a code for me to use. Okay, now when here it says up to 250 participants, and I know that Google recently upgraded that. It used to be where you could only use have a max of 50 participants. Then it went to 100. They doubled it to 100, and now it's 250 participants. Now, if I click on this little drop down arrow, I click on that, and it gives me all of the details. It gives me the code, the Meet code. And if I go here to this little icon, it's not there. You don't automatically see it. But when you hover over, you have this little edit icon. well, there should be no reason why you want to edit that code, but and I'm not even sure if, no, I don't, you shouldn't have a reason why you need to edit the code. It automatically generates a code for you. What I wanted to show you was the add a live stream. So here, this add a live stream option, this is important because if you are, for example, like the ones that we're doing right now, if I go into my Google Meet, oh, sorry, I have it pinned. If I go into my Google Meet, you see these two little, I see that these two little icons here, that it's being recorded and it's being live streamed. Okay. So the difference between that is once the recording stops, it's going to automatically save it into my Google Drive. And the recording is, we have the people, I'm recording right now my meet of the people that are in the meet, almost 100 participants, and everyone is here in this meet. The live stream is people who are viewing the this webinar, but aren't necessarily in here as participants in here in the actual, they cannot ask questions as you can on the chat. These are people that are simply viewing the webinar. Okay, so that's the difference between those two. Okay, now when you click on when you click on live stream, if you want to go down here and add a live stream, I can click on that, and now it's generating a code for live stream. Okay, so when you okay, let me go back down. So when you have a live stream, and then you have the your Meet code, you can this Meet code will work with anyone with or in APS or outside of APS, up to 250 participants. Okay, the live stream, it works with people who within APS. So the ones that can stream live are only APS people that are within our APS school district. Okay, so those are the only ones that can view the live stream. And the Meet, when you share this code here, the Meet code, people within or outside of APS can access. Okay. So when you're doing a meet with parents or with maybe like the example of the IEP, you have maybe 5, 6, 7 people in that IEP, then there would be no reason to do a live stream. In fact, you don't want to do a live stream. All you need to do is set up the Google Meet, and it automatically generates that code for you. Okay. So once you add the Google Meet, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this because I don't want to create. So I'm going to discard it because I don't want to create that meet. I was just showing you all as an example. When I go into, here's what we have for today. When I go into our webinars, our Google Meets that we have set up, if I click on that, I can see that we have a live stream code. I can see that we have a Google Meet code, so up to 250 participants in the Meet. And then these little icons next to it, it says copy conference link to the clipboard, okay, to your clipboard. So if I go in and I copy that, it says successfully copied to the clipboard, okay? So if I wanted to share this link with someone, I can go in, I can go, so this is for Google Classroom 101, that will be tomorrow from 9 to 11:30. If I go here back to my Google Meet, I can go into the chat room and I can just Control V and it copies the Google Meet classroom for tomorrow. Okay, so I can go on there and say Google Classroom 101 tomorrow. Go into the chat room and I can just I'm not sure and it copies the Google Meet classroom. Is there somebody who's asking a question, or I hear someone? Did we have a question, Tina?
No, I think it was someone just got in the meet and they
Oh.
were delayed, so it was playing you back.
Oh, okay, awesome. Okay, so so again, the Google Calendar, is not, it does not sync up with Outlook. So that's the one of the issues we are coming across, and there's no way of syncing it. We've tried multiple times to sync those. There's no syncing Outlook Calendar or Google Calendar. So what you would want to do if you and a lot of you use Outlook to schedule, to send emails, schedule meetings, or what have you. So what I would recommend is going to your Google Hangouts, go to this copy conference link to clipboard. You just click on that. You don't have to like right click and copy and paste, none of that. You just click on this little icon. By clicking on that, I get this notification at the bottom that says successfully copied to clipboard. And if I were to go into my APS email, or like I just showed you all the, if I go into the Meet and I went into the chat and I can just paste it on there by right clicking, I just paste it on there, or control V on my, I think it's the same as in a Mac. You just control paste in there, and it automatically, you can put it in a, you can even put it in directly on an email. So if you want to invite people and you want to send them, I'm going to see if I can go into my email from here. And I do apologize. I have so many emails. It's just been a very busy time. It's been so busy. But I'm going to go into my email. And so, yeah, I have 7,000 emails. I'm going to go and hit new to compose a new email. And remember, I copied it onto my clipboard. And all I do is paste it in there, and it automatically, this is what it'll look like. It automatically generates that Meet for, and I can choose whomever I want to send it to. If it's a team of 7 people, I can include all their emails in here and say, you know, Google Meet, IEP Google Meet, or student conference Google Meet, or what have you. Okay. I'm going to discard that. Okay. And I'm going to exit out of that. Okay. So that is pretty much our Google Meet. Do we have any more questions?